Hey there, YouTubers. My name is Alex. Welcome back to Titan Bear Gaming. In today's episode, we're doing another product review from the deck of many of their deck of many things and all the different decks of many that they have, and most importantly, their animated spell cards that just came off of Kickstarter. So let's go ahead and take a look at these things. Now, again, this is the deck of many by thedeckofmoney.com. And these are 5e Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition reference cards. They've got a ton of them. They have the deck of many weapons. They've got the deck of many conditions, and we're going to go through all of them in some detail. But the one that I want to start with first is the one that they just did a Kickstarter for. Okay, and they call these the deck of many animated spells. And I just think that this is the coolest friggin' idea that I've seen in a long time as far as RPG accessories are concerned, right? I've put a few of them here. These are all cantrips. We've got Acid Splash, Firebolt, and Dancing Lights. And it's basically a spell card with kind of that holographic technology that was so prevalent when we were children for baseball cards and things. I forget exactly what they call it, but basically what it is they embed in 8 frames of animation a GIF, right, that animates the spell that they're depicting here. And I think that it's just the coolest little addition to a gaming table for being able to actually visualize and see what an individual spell does, right? Your little Firebolt here shoots a little mote of flame and collides with the target. Dancing Lights has the 4, spinning light balls that, in a square orientation on this one, and they kind of come together. I think that it's just the coolest friggin' thing that there ever was. Now, like I said, this was on Kickstarter just now, and it was a rampantly successful Kickstarter. And the way that they're doing these is they have them organized by spell level, and then they're subdivided by alphabetical within the spell level. And so if you're going to pull together a whole set of these, it's no small investment, right? It's no small chunk of change. During the Kickstarter days, they were like $20 a piece for one of those sets. And by the end of it, there were like 10 sets, right? There were quite a lot. It ended up clocking in something in the $200 range on Kickstarter to get the whole thing. But these are some real Cadillac pieces, right? I think that these things are just, like I've said, they're some of the coolest RPG accessories that I've seen in a long time. And they're not only do they look nice, but they're also functional. You can see on the front here that you've got kind of a Cliff Notes version of what the different spell characteristics are, what school it's from, what the action cost is, range, what the components are, verbal, somatic, and then the duration here at the bottom. And then if you flip it over, it looks just like a regular spell card here on the back that shows a printing of what the spell's definition is from the main rulebook, right? And if you've been following my channel at all and seen some of my other RPG accessories videos, you know that I'm a huge fan of spell cards and really any kind of reference cards that makes referencing details at the table a little bit easier. And these completely fit the bill, right? I'm sad that I missed the Kickstarter, that I wasn't able to back a complete set of spells 1 through 9 or cantrips through 9. But you can bet that I'm going to be picking them up when they go out on sale. These ones, the rest of the deck of many's are available for purchase right now. It's a freely manufactured and sold product. The deck of animated spells, are currently on pre-order, and they're slating those things to be going out next June is when you'll be able to get your hands on the full set of these things. But yeah, I've seen some of the other artwork that they've done for the other spells, the higher level spells, since these 3 are all cantrips here. And it just looks so cool. They look really nice. I think the money is already partitioned. I'm going to be using it to buy these things. So I think that the deck of animated spells is just the coolest friggin' thing that there ever was. And again, they like to make a big deal about the cards themselves being waterproof. So if they get spilled on, that they'll still be just fine. They are tarot-sized cards that I didn't mention. All of the deck of many reference cards are tarot-sized. So for sleeving purposes, you got to look for tarot sleeves in order to do it. But anyway, yeah, I think that basically covers the deck of animated spells. I think they're really great. I'll be sure to put the link for you to be able to do pre-orders for these in the description so that you can take a look at them yourself. But anyway, I think they're just the coolest things. But they also have a whole bunch of other ones. Like I said, They've got a bunch of these other deck of many reference cards, and they've got weapons that are a bunch of, again, tarot-sized cards that are references for all the different kinds of weapons that exist in the game. Something that I like about these is that because it includes a picture, there's an artist rendering here at the top, that can be very helpful for certain players that don't necessarily know what some of the more exotic or bizarre weaponry is, right? There's not all pictures for these items in the game books. And so having a nice artist rendering does help to convey that image for players. But it's got all the things you might need to know about how much damage it does, what type, and then what kind of classification it is. And they're all in here as far as I can tell. Let me set this down so we get a good focus on it. They're all in here as far as I can tell. And all of the deck of many cards, card packs come with these blank custom encounter cards. So you can write your own notes and fill out your own information, fill out your own details to have on these card size reference sheets, which is very, very considerate, I think, of the deck of many guys. So let's take a look at some of the other ones. That's the deck of many weapons. We'll look at the deck of many conditions, which I think is also a really great idea. It's, again, one of these appendixes in the back of the player handbook. It's got all the conditions listed. And these ones, they tried to be a little bit smart since they give you 4 each, approximately, of each of the kinds of conditions. They had to be intelligent about how they spaced them out. And so you can see for charmed here that it's actually charmed on the front, and on the back side you have deafened. And they seem like they've been more or less pretty analytical about how they divided up which spells go or which conditions go where. As you can see, stunned and unconscious are next to each other because you'll never have, those are mutually exclusive things. So that's not too bad. So I like these a lot. I think that these are helpful for a dungeon master or for a player, just to help you remember what these conditions are at the table in a nice handheld format. And then the other one that I wanted to point out for the conditions is exhaustion. They actually have a full card for what are the different levels of exhaustion and what does it do? How do you recover from it, etc. So I think that the deck of many conditions is very well thought out and is super helpful at the game table. And then they've got their NPC blocks, which they have the deck of many NPCs, and then they've got 3 different sets for the deck of many monsters. The deck of NPCs is covering stat blocks for all of the NPC characters that are in the back of the player's handbook, or possibly the Dungeon Master's Guide. I've forgotten now, but where the NPC stat blocks are, this is the card version for each of them. And there's a little artist rendering on them as well, so that you have a little bit more of a visual depiction to work with if you want to. The NPCs are cool. The deck of many monsters, I think, warrants some additional conversation. This is a product that is only possible because of the OGL, right? If you've been in the hobby for any length of time, you've probably run into the OGL. This is the Open Gaming License. This is a thing that Wizards of the Coast releases to encourage and to legally permit third-party companies to produce material that would address IPs and game concepts that would otherwise be the sole property of Wizards of the Coast. And so the way that Wizards of the Coast did that is that there's a small subset of the player's handbook rules and the monster manual, monsters, and the material in the Dungeon Master's Guide that they then say is a part of the OGL, it's part of the Open Gaming License, and that companies like the Deck of Many can then produce third-party accessories and cool reference things like this for the stuff that's only listed in the OGL. I bring that up because it's important to know here that the complete set of all monsters that have been published in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, the Monster Manual, Volos, Mordenkainen's, any of those, this does not cover all of them, and it's not the Deck of Many's fault. The Deck of Many is only able to cover the monsters that are explicitly permitted by the OGL license, because that's all that they're legally permitted to do without having copyright issues. But that said, I really like these cards. I think that they're very cute. The artist renderings are a nice style that I think would actually be a wonderful nod to if you're playing at a table with a bunch of kids. I think it's very kid-friendly and very user-friendly. It's not going to be terribly overwhelming, and nothing's particularly gory in here. The other thing that I think that they've done very well is they've divided up the monsters into these 3 different packs to try and be based on the usage model that you might have as a dungeon master or as a player. Right. For example, I think it's pack number 3. Yeah, here, the Deck of Many Monsters 3 has the vast majority of the beasts that you might want to use if you're a druid or if you're a beastmaster ranger. right? And so if that's all you were looking for, then Deck of Many Monsters 3 is the one that you're looking for. And otherwise, you've got a lot of elementals and things in the Deck of Many Monsters number 2, and then a little bit more of the general OGL monsters in the Deck of Many Monsters 1. And just like the Deck of Many NPCs, the way that these things operate is they've got a picture on the front, and then on the back is the stat block that you would find in the back of the book or from their monster manual entry. And of course, the Deck of Many would not be complete if they didn't also have a actual Deck of Many Things reference deck, so that if you have the magic item for the Deck of Many Things, the notorious magic item in your game, here you can actually use a drawable tarot-sized deck of the Deck of Many Things, and it includes the rules for the magic item in this deck as well. So all in all, I think the Deck of Many has done really great work here, really great product. The complete Deck of Many is what they call it when you're referencing all these different types all together, and it's really something that's wondrous to behold, to be honest. It's a ton of reference cards as a dungeon master that likes to favor quick referenced things for both me as the DM and for my players. These things are really great. I need to now go look and see if a company makes tarot-sized card sleeve sheets so that I can align these things up in like binder sheet style for my players, because my players like to use that for their spell cards otherwise. So I plan on using these immensely, especially the conditions. I think those will be very helpful for players at my table as well. And like I said, the Deck of Many animated spells is just, it's awesome. I'm a little bit speechless on it. I hope that the video here is doing it some justice as far as how you can see the animations are going. These 3 that they've given me here are actually, in my opinion, some of the more lackluster of animations. As awesome as they look, they are some of the more lackluster animations of the ones that are available, right? Once you start getting up to 2nd level spells and 3rd level spells and 5th level spells and 9th level spells, you can see some really cool stuff. And I think that I've said it before, I think having the graphical depiction of what the spell does goes a really long way towards triggering inspiration and triggering creativity at the gaming table. And it's got all of the spell details on it to boot. So, what else could you possibly want? So I'll put a link down below to the deckofmany.com where you can buy your copies of the different Decks of Many, as well as you can get your pre-order in for the Deck of Many animated spell cards. You can get your purchase there made. Like I said, I think they're currently slated for June of next year. So that's June of 2019. I can't wait for it. And I'm sure that once you go take a look at it, you'll feel the same way. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you liked it. We post a new one every Tuesday, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and click the little notification bell at the same time to get a pop-up when those videos do go up. If you're hungry for more Titan Bear Gaming content, head on over to our Patreon, where our subscribers get access to even more content. We post special unreleased videos, bloopers reels, outtakes, sneak peeks for upcoming episodes. And for Patreon subscribers only, we release our weekly podcast with episodes going out every Monday. You can find us on social media at Titan Bear Gaming. Until next time I see you, have more fun, would you? It's good for you.